Studies in social perception indicate that hair is one of the primary cues processed during a first encounter. Because it is visible from a distance, it establishes a baseline of authority within seconds of entering a room. Many guys assume a slick back means dragging some generic product through their hair and aggressively pushing it out of their eyes. Achieving a flawless slick back relies on a scientific process. You are building a molecular architecture that holds its rigid shape while moving naturally with your body. We engineer this style using 5 precise steps: preparing the scalp, applying the product, shaping the tracks, controlling the drying phase, and locking in the final hold. By the end of this sequence, your hairstyle is a meticulously constructed framework designed for absolute control. Step 1 starts at the scalp. You have roughly 100,000 dormant hair follicles, and you must biologically prepare them before any product touches your head. Washing your hair with warm water at exactly 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, standard body temperature, forces the hair cuticles to open and prime the strands. Rinsing with cold water is a critical error. The sudden temperature drop immediately constricts the follicles and snaps the cuticles tight. Once the cuticles are open, gently towel dry your hair until it is exactly 60% dry. This specific moisture level primes the surface for chemical bonding. Proper thermal preparation is the mandatory foundation of this style. Without open cuticles, even premium styling wax will sit uselessly on the surface and eventually fail. Step 2 requires understanding the material we are working with. Human hair is built on a specific protein structure called keratin. Scooping cold wax out of a jar and smearing it directly onto the top layer of your hair ensures the product cannot penetrate or interact with those proteins. To chemically activate the styling wax, rub a generous amount aggressively between your palms until the friction warms it to exactly body temperature. For the application mechanics, start strictly at the roots. Work the activated wax through to the tips using sharp, diagonal upward strokes. The heat-activated wax polymers bond directly with your hair's keratin structure, rapidly wrapping around and locking onto the thick underlying fibers. Standard drugstore products merely act as a glue, sticking external strands to one another and creating a rigid, brittle helmet. This specific polymer-keratin bond yields an internal architecture. It generates massive lift at the root level while allowing the length of the hair to move dynamically. Step 3 is the mechanical shaping phase. Using steady, backward strokes with a comb, establish distinct directional tracks through the product. Follow immediately behind the comb with the palm of your free hand to flatten rogue flyaways and finalize a smooth surface polish. Step 4 requires a structural divergence. The drying method dictates whether you get a loose finish or a highly defined look. Leaving the hair to air dry allows gravity to settle the strands, yielding a relaxed texture that falls naturally. This vector diagram shows directed airflow during a blow-dry. Combining medium heat with backward combing forces structural volume at the root, pushing the hair backward and upward for maximum vertical definition. If you have curly hair, do not fight to flatten the texture. Utilize those natural curves for built-in volume and character. Whichever method you choose, this thermal drying phase permanently sets the physical geometry of your hairstyle for the remainder of the day. Step 5 is the final lock-in. Once the hair is completely dry, assess the hold and decide if you need an environmental seal. Applying strong hold hairspray physically seals the cuticles. It coats the strands in a dense mist, creating a budge-proof shell against humidity and wind. This graphic shows how your baseline architecture adapts into modern variations. The first silhouette is the slicked back undercut, featuring sharply cut sides that contrast heavily with a longer, styled top. The second variation is the fade. This requires a seamless tapering of hair on the sides that blends continuously into the upper section. For maximum contrast, you can combine the classic slick back with completely shaved sides to produce a dramatic, ultra-modern edge. Long-term maintenance requires commitment. Schedule regular barber trims to keep the perimeter sharp, and perform a daily refresh with a small amount of wax to maintain structural integrity. Mastering these structural principles provides a highly repeatable system for managing your appearance. Utilizing this precise technical approach ensures your hair maintains its intended shape and professional polish throughout the entire day.